Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Smack Raw Podcast, your one-stop shop for AEW, WWE, recaps, reviews, and pay-per-view predictions. My name is Vince. I'm joined here by Sebastian and Kevin. Guys, say hello to everyone.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up?
We have a great show to cover for you guys, but before we do that, if you're listening to us for the first time, you can subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and comment on the video down below. Help us reach that 100 subscriber mark so we can get that custom URL. You could also find us on Twitter at the Smack Raw Pod. You can find me at SES Vince on Twitter and all social medias. Sebastian, where can people find you?
At RyanFan_32.
Kev, how about you?
Excuse me, that's just at Kevin Crazy 316, and that's crazy with a K.
Perfect. So, guys, we had a great show tonight. NXT went live on the USA Network for the very first time. I think it was great. But man, what do you guys think? I thought it was great. I'm just not overhyping it, right?
No, it's a fun show.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
There was very little. If I had one complaint, and it really wasn't because there wasn't no effort into it, the Xylee and Alea match, it was just a lot of missed time.
Yeah.
Time and stuff in there. It seems like they didn't have much chemistry, but they tried. I mean, it wasn't like there was no effort. But that was about the only down point for me.
All right, but before we'll talk about that once we get to the match itself. And before we get into NXT being live, we have to cover the other live show that happened last night. We're going to talk about 205 Live briefly, just because we do have a 2-hour show to cover, and we want to try to get that out of the way. So, Seb, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch NXT, so why don't you run us down what happened on 205 Live last night?
All right, man. 3 matches on the show, a few promos as well. The first match was Lince Dorado versus Daivari.
Mm-hmm.
This was an alright match. They had a little of everything. Lince Dorado, did his basic crossbodies, regular stuff. Even did a barricade walk-arana. Daivari even pulled up rock bottom.
Oh, really?
And Aiden English played up. He's like, and Aiden English found an electrifying way to put him down, playing up to the rock.
Nice.
So, it was a fun match. Probably the best match of the show. This is, I don't know, for me it just felt like a weaker 205 Live than what we usually get. Dorado won with a shooting star press, and he almost messed up when he came down. Kev, did you watch?
Kev, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right.
Did you watch it?
I didn't, actually. I did not get a chance to watch it.
Okay, well, we had the shooting star. He hit his feet on the way down on the top rope. It could have ended up pretty bad, but somehow he saved it and still landed it pretty good. I mean, it was a heck of a save. So that's how Dorado won the match. After the match, Only Lorcan had a promo backstage talking about how Tony Nese took him out 2 weeks. He swore revenge in the main event tonight and said then after that he's going to get Gulak in the championship.
Okay.
Second matchup was Jack Gallagher versus Brian Kendrick. And Kendrick had Tozawa in his corner. The crowd was so quiet during this match, there was no reaction really ever in Tozawa's all chance. That's about the only thing that did anything.
Wow.
It ended in a DQ. Kendrick got a kendo stick and just was beating Gallagher with it. Still no reaction. Tozawa asked him what he was doing, and when he went to check on Gallagher, Kendrick just started laying him. So I guess we got a turn from Kendrick hitting Tozawa. So, and this is, unfortunately, even on 205, eventually these splits happen. You can kind of see this for a while now. But after this, Alberto Carrillo, his Dimple said that he wants a one-on-one chance to face Drew Gulak. And if he ever got it, he'd win it.
Yeah.
And English, and that was about it. Just
Okay.
throwing his name out in a hat like Lorcan did earlier, talking about just wanting a title shot.
I mean,
Then the main event came.
okay, so there's more. Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah, with the main event, only Lorcan versus Tony Nese. It wasn't, at least in my opinion, it wasn't one of our classic 205 main events that we've been getting. This was, I struggled to get into it. There's a spot where Nese threw Lorcan across the announce table, and the announce table just broke.
Oh man. Oh wow. I gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there was some odd stuff in this match. I mean, the effort was there. I just personally couldn't get into it tonight. I don't know if it was where I was just wanting to NXT to come up tonight, whatever the case may be. It wasn't for me tonight. But the finish came. Gulak came out, distracted him. Nese got the schoolboy with the trunks, I do believe, if I'm remembering right. And Nese and Gulak celebrated on the ramp. And, but just the law of 205 that Gulak is, whether it's another 2 weeks or however long 205 lasts.
Right.
Going to last.
I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot happened tonight at last night's episode, right?
No, not much. I mean, like I said, Kendrick turned on Tozawa, but that was, you can see that coming from a mile away here lately.
Yeah, I feel like they've always done things where, like, they pair two random guys together. They're a cohesive unit for a couple weeks or a couple months, and then one person turns on the other, and that's how they go into another feud. Maybe honestly, it's just like the lack of like the enthusiasm, or we just know that the writing's on the wall and they're not gonna stick around as a TV show going forward. But
that might be good too.
Yeah, because we had a cruiserweight match on tonight's NXT, and based on what you told me how the crowd reacted compared to how the Full Sail crowd reacted, it's night and day.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Full Sail is just a much better environment for the cruiserweights. One, you don't have a tired crowd from a 2-hour SmackDown Live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, the crowd's tired. They just want to go home. A lot of them do, but a lot of them do try to at least stick around and watch them, but sometimes they just struggle to get into the matches.
Yeah.
But, sometimes they have these main events where you get a lot of chance and a lot of reaction, but it's just not there enough, in my opinion, for them to keep it going.
Right. I mean, Kevin, did you get a chance to catch 205? What do you think?
Nah, I didn't, unfortunately. But that is really too bad that the crowd wasn't into it and stuff like that. I mean, especially like a match with like Tony Nese and Oni Lorcan. I feel like to Seb's point too that we've been getting really good main events on 205 Live. Lately it's just kind of disappointing to hear.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I mean, I can't knock it out of the park every main event.
Sure.
I don't expect them to. But, like Vince said, the writing's on a wall, and I think a lot of people understand that. And I think maybe some of the talent understand that. And it's just, I don't know. But the Full Sail crowd, they're going to accept them, and they're going to love them. I mean, based on the reaction that we had tonight.
Yeah.
It's just a better environment.
I mean,
absolutely.
Definitely, and you could feel that environment from the get-go. Like the second that the NXT live broadcast started, because it started off with the nice little like promo package. It zoomed into Triple H. He's hyping up NXT, and here's the thing. I watched the promo package that he did, and I thought it was pre-recorded, but turns out he was filming that live, and then he took us to the crowd so we can get like a view of the entire arena from a wrestler's point of view, which I completely loved. I thought that was a great visual.
Oh my god, that promo was fire. That was so good.
Oh, it got me hyped up. I had a friend with me watching, and he's not like the biggest wrestling fan. He was like one of those casual fans that was watching during the Attitude Era. He was like, "Oh snap, Triple H is around. Wait, does he wrestle in NXT?" And it was like, "Oh snap!" Like he got hyped up listening to Triple H, which was a good thing. That just goes to show you that like even like little things like that help.
Absolutely.
So
Triple H just has that power. I mean, think about the first takeover. I mean, just out there in the ring to open it up.
Yeah.
You know, Triple H has that ability to rile up a crowd, and especially he's like the good Vince McMahon. I mean, that's how
Yeah,
Full Sail.
right.
That's how Full Sail.
I guess
sees
like
him.
the
I mean,
anti-Vince then. He's the anti-Vince. He does everything that Vince should be doing.
Pretty much.
the good version. A good version.
The good version.
But, I mean, don't get me wrong, if Vince is on TV, he gets a pop. Hey,
Right.
It's sort of weird. But, you know, even social media, I mean, everybody just loves Triple H and the job he's been able to do. So
No, for real. I mean, like, they do such a great job, like, not only, like, introducing us to the venue and the energy and the crowd of it all, but they did a great job of starting off the show. They started off with the Fatal 4-Way match between Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Bianca Belair, and Mia Yim. And, guys, I thought this match was going to be saved for, like, in the second hour or, like, I don't know. They just started it off. I didn't think they'd come out with, like, this match right out the gate. What you guys think? Did that throw you off?
yeah, it did. I thought it was going to be the main event after they said Velveteen and Roderick would be on USA. I was
Right.
like, well, you know, women's going to main event the first show. And I'm not saying it's negative that they're not. The main event was fine. It was good. But, you know, it's good for the girls. You got to know they had a great feeling opening up this first episode of a new era in NXT.
Yeah, they started things off with Io. Io came out and she looked like a star. And like one thing that I noticed from the get-go was the camera work was different. Like it was like if like the visuals, it felt like it was a different arena, even though it's the exact same Full Sail arena they've been at for like the last couple years.
Yeah, I noticed that too. There's a lot of just small little changes that you could see tonight if you paid close enough attention.
No, yeah, and like I don't know. Like it's just these girls started things off from the get. Like it was Candice just went straight for Io to start things off, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then they just went straight into it. It was move after move. I remember like Bianca like doing a military press onto Candice, I believe, and then just, man, like they were the one sequence they had towards the middle of the match or towards the end where everyone was just doing dives and dives after the ring, and then it ended with Io doing a moonsault. Like these girls can freaking go, and the fact that they let them start things off and like showcase that NXT is really good with the women, I thought that was a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's very big here the last, you know, since Io turned heel, all that, we've saying the women's division's kind of been struggling a little bit.
But I think they're doing a good job at rebuilding the
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This match did a lot for them,
Mm-hmm.
and we even had another women's match later in the night. So they're really showing a lot of effort now, and they're gonna have to. The AEW's women's division is loaded.
It's stacked.
So they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to bring it. And I think these poor girls knew that going out, and they tried to steal the show. And you could argue they did.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, from like this match was nonstop. Like in the beginning of Triple H's promo, they said he's like, "Don't blink because you'll miss something." And honestly, you couldn't blink throughout this match because it was just fast paced. There was one move after the other. They went into commercial break and came back with the Tower of Doom spot.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Like
That was awesome.
I don't have live TV, so I like stream it on like my Roku stick using like AT&T TV or whatever it's called now. And I just came back into commercial. I'm like, wait, did I miss like a couple seconds into it? And I had to go back like 15, 30 seconds. Like, and that's when things clicked. I'm like, no, they just jumped right into that Tower of Doom spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And I didn't even see it. I was in the kitchen getting something from the fridge, and all of a sudden I hear, "The Tower of Doom!" And I'm like, what?
Oh, man. Mario was great, too. It was nice listening to him for like a full 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a nice change of pace from having to
he's
listen
awesome.
to Tom Phillips and Michael Cole every week. This is
It's gonna change though.
Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't. If
No,
if
not
Jason-
Mario. I just meant the main roster. Apparently, is getting
Yeah.
a remake with the announced team.
I mean, but how more can it change? It's just they're just gonna be playing musical chairs with the announced teams. That's all they're doing.
Well,
Unless
I
there's
don't
like a
know.
change, like
yeah.
the way they do things.
Vic Joseph, the report I saw today is Vic Joseph's been a guy I've never even heard of. I'm sure I may have heard of him and just forgot about him. Is apparently going to be over Raw.
Yeah, he's
Oh, you heard? I heard he was going to be on SmackDown.
Well,
I could be mistaken, but yeah, he's the
Don,
dude. Isn't he? He's the main dude on 205 Live right now.
yeah
Isn't he, Vic
him.
Joseph?
It's him and Nigel
Yeah.
McGuinness. And it was Aiden English that were the main three guys on 205. But
and I'll be honest, he does a good job. He keeps it focused on the ring. His little 2 hours he got on Raw a few weeks ago, I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
for sure, definitely.
I was really into it.
But yeah, like going back to the match though, like these girls did a really good job, and the finish really surprised me. Did either of you guys think Candice would walk away the number one contender in this?
I personally didn't. I thought the Io Shirai feud was going to continue. I was expecting Belair to win, but it's a good surprise.
Yeah,
WWE as a whole, not just NXT, has been bringing out the swerves lately. So, yeah.
hey,
Really,
and like Kyle likes to say, if you can surprise me, I'm happy, you know, and that goes for me too. Like it was a nice, pleasant surprise because going into it, because it originally was going to be the triple threat. It was going to be Mia, Bianca, and Io, and all three of them faced Shayna 1-on-1 and lost. So the prospect of either of them like facing Shayna again would have been like, well, what's the point? Are they really going to win? And I kind of like took out Io out of the equation because she, like you said, Sebastian, she has this feud going on with Candice, which is kind of in question right now because she is the number one contender. She did win the match with that. What move did she hit before she hit that moonsault?
the Poison Rana.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was the Poison Rana because she was set up in the turnbuckle, and Mia was trying to like powerbomb her or do something. Then she tried to change it into an electric chair. Because initially she was trying to powerbomb her, couldn't do it. Then she decided I'm gonna try to electric chair her, which didn't work out because she got the reverse dragon Rana. And then after that, the moonsault the springboard moonsault 1, 2, 3. Candice LeRae, your new number one contender. She goes up to the top of the stage, and Shayna and the Horsewoman come out and confront her.
Yeah, that was a cool little thing. Candice didn't back down.
No, she showed that Johnny Gargano side of her where she just like resiliency and is going to take on all challengers.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Quick little plug. Happy anniversary, Candice and Johnny, if you ever listen to our show.
Hopefully one day.
Yeah. But, no, I really like this match, man. Everybody got their shit in. I think the right person took the pin.
Yeah.
Mia just came off losing a feud. She can afford it. It's not like this derailed a push or anything like that. So I think she was, right being the fall guy here or fall lady here. So everything was good from here. I didn't have a single complaint.
The only question, like we were talking about, Kevin, where do you think this leaves Io and Candice going forward in their feud? Do you think maybe in their title match, Candice is not going to win because of Io, or do you think we're actually going to get a straight up finish to that?
That's a that's a great question, honestly, because you gotta make that build for the the NXT Women's Championship now with Candice in the picture. Boy, I don't know, but I can't imagine Io Shirai not having anything to do with it. Whether it's, some shenanigans in the match or, in the build, they're going to weave her in somehow.
Yeah, most definitely. Maybe that's the match at TakeOver War Games. Maybe there's no clean finish in the Candice match, which leads to a triple threat, which is what I was thinking, that somehow this Fatal 4-Way would lead into a triple threat between Io, Candice, and Shayna at the next TakeOver, and that's a way to extend the Io Candice feud without rushing someone else to be into the title picture or putting someone else they really shouldn't be in there. Yeah, so I think it's an interesting matchup, and a case can be made that like they're gonna cancel each other out, which extends Shayna's reign a little bit longer if that is the case.
Right.
I mean, I guess we'll see. Because that match is gonna be taking place in 2 weeks' time, so we won't have to wait too long to see the results of that.
Small one right here. I'm shocked at some of the things I've seen after this match, though. Yeah, I just don't understand why fans got to bring Grace in there. This one in particular, I've seen a few of them, but this one, oh look, the white girl that got in the match on privilege beat all the ethnic girls. Somewhere Vince needs a witness. Man, keep that shit out.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I wasn't really active on Twitter.
I didn't see like that either.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Wow.
Keep that crap out here, man. I
mean, that just shows that people aren't too knowledgeable about a lot of these wrestlers, because if anyone with half of these in brain cell has been following wrestling for the last couple of years, knows that Candice LeRae is one of the top women's wrestlers in all of the world. Like before she even signed with NXT, like indie wrestlers like the Bucks, Joey Ryan, obviously yes they're friends, but they all said like she's a top talent, and she went toe to toe with a bunch of guys, not just girls. Like that's just an ignorant comment right there.
She's a 15-year vet. I mean, come on.
Yep.
If you're gonna make a comment, at least do some research first. Not make yourself look like an idiot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. Well, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I had no idea, Sebastian.
Yeah, wow.
I mean,
like, I even retweeted. I was like, man, this dude's going to tear a muscle reaching so.
Hey, man.
Like,
some people just try to do that just to like get some kind of reaction.
But the thing is, like it was a reply to 5-4.
Really?
You know,
really?
Like, yeah, Sean Ross and all them. So he put it out there to a pretty legitimate place. So I don't know. I just saw it and it kind of blew my mind.
All right. Well,
oh shit.
Yeah, there's you can't keep going on and on about like people on Twitter, because we'll just sit here talking about them like all podcast long, because there's a lot of great in wrestling Twitter, but there's also like a lot of bad.
Yeah, there's some shitty ass on Twitter.
Yeah, there wasn't too much bad going on in this episode though. Sebastian, what followed this women's match?
It was Cameron Grimes and
it was Sean Maluta.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah, Sean Maluta versus Cameron Grimes. Before we talk about like the very quick match that happened here, what do you guys think of Cameron Grimes' hat and like vest, man? I mean, I can't be the only one that's like kind of weirded out by it. Like, I don't know, I'm not all there yet on it, but I don't hate it at the same time.
Sean Maluta, by the way, is who he faced.
Yeah.
But no, it's I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just there. I learned here recently, just be patient, give it a chance, watch it play out a little bit.
I just
so
hope
I'm not
that
judge it right now.
I just hope that that's like his own thing, you know, like he wanted to do that. If that's the case, then by all means, Cameron Grimes, do what you want to do, man. Like, it's your character, you're the wrestler, man. If you feel like this is gonna work, let's do it. Let's see.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he seemed like he's done a good job with it so far. Oh, by the way, I really liked at the top of the show where Triple H said, "Don't blink, you might miss something." And if you blinked, you would have missed this match.
Oh, you totally would have missed this match. Literally the bell just rang, and then Cameron Grimes just ran to Maluta, double stomp, that double moon stomp, 1, 2, 3, and he was out of here. He was out of here.
Triple H tried to warn him, man.
Yeah,
Triple H warned us all.
Man. Everybody's trying to finish their matches quicker than Bailey runs out of the ring, man.
No shit.
But I'm a fan of Cameron, man, and good for him. Not long ago, he was in, and I mean,
Impact?
They're still struggling a little bit, but not nowhere near as much as they did Impact. So to see him go from there and to this role where he seems like he's going to be featured big role in this new era of NXT, good for him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. The fact that he just came in and just squashed Sean Maluta in like less than like 30 seconds just shows that they think highly of him. and there's gonna be big things to look forward to with Cameron Grimes. And then, if I'm not mistaken, after this, didn't they just go straight into the main event? Or am I skipping something?
Sort of the main event, I guess.
Well, the USA Network
USA
main event. The USA main event. But yeah, they just went straight into that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And obviously, like, if you guys watch the show, you know the results. Undisputed Era is finally draped in gold. The prophecy is fulfilled. Roddy held his end of the bargain. But before we even got all that, we had a really, really good match between these two guys.
Hell yeah.
I think it was the right choice. I think it was the right choice to have this match close off USA, because I remember I'm like, wait, like I was watching and I'm like, wait. Fuck, now I gotta go to the network. What else is gonna happen? Is something else is gonna happen? Am I gonna miss something? I don't want to miss nothing. So like, if that's how I felt,
that's
like
the way I felt.
Yeah, so like we were like rushing to get to the network. I can't wait 2 weeks time where I don't have to like rush to the network and I could just like stay there for the full 2 hours. But I thought this match was great. Sebastian, like what stood out for you in this match?
It was just a real. It wasn't a fast-paced match like the Fatal 4-Way, but you know these guys had 25 minutes. They couldn't go fast-paced like you kind of expect, but it was still really good. Roderick and Dream, man, Dream's just ahead of his time, and to be in there with a veteran like Roderick Strong, you might as well expect something like this. The near falls toward the end were just amazing. And not even just that, Velveteen selling that Boston Crab.
Oh, I was just about to bring it up. Like, because he started off, I'm not exactly sure the name of the move, but it was he hooked both of his arms and then lifted him up and then dropped them and then into like it was a Tiger Feint bomb, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he did the Tiger Feint bomb towards the end, and then Dream kicked out, and just like Samoa Joe usually does, he converted it into the Stronghold, the Boston Crab, and he was in there for a minute, and like right then and there, at that point we hadn't seen no Undisputed Era, and I was like, wow, is Velveteen Dream about to tap? Is he gonna tap to Roderick Strong? Clean finish? Are we gonna get a clean finish? Obviously we didn't, but man, Dream for a second there, I was really like thinking that he was gonna tap out.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
Even Murrow was like, he has to be careful because he was kind of patting his hand there, here and there, and I was like, did he tap? Did he not tap? So he's kind of close, man. He did a phenomenal job selling that. And like I said, the near falls on the end where it was the DVD or Dream DDT, whatever he calls it.
Oh yeah.
Or the first heart of it.
Oh my god, that was.
Or the first end of Heartache at Strong hit.
Oh, that
I thought it was over there, and that place came unglued when Dream kicked out the first one. I mean, it was just really great storytelling.
Before even that, he took like Dream was getting like hanged in between the ropes, and he took like a nasty kick. That shit just echoed throughout the entire arena. That was
nasty V trigger, man.
Oh, he hit like two, didn't he? No, he hit the V trigger and he had that high jumping knee before he hit the first end of days. Man, just like Roderick Strong was literally just beating the crap out of Velveteen tonight.
Yeah,
he was really trying to get that title.
You got Baron Corbin on your mind.
Oh no! Yeah, he did. Oh no!
Oh man.
Rob's converting Vince.
Slowly but surely, man. I mean, without going too much into Baron Corbin, man, I'm feeling King Corbin, man. I think we got there's some legs there. I think they made the right choice in having him win King of the Ring. But
yeah, I do too.
I agree.
Yeah. But
pains me to say so, but
before the first and the Heartache, that's when Undisputed Era slowly started to make their way towards ringside, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Drake, and that's another thing. Drake, like, he's just so ahead of his time with just not just his selling or his offense or anything, just his facial expression. Like when they came out and he realized he was there, like everything Dream does is go. Like the fact that he's 23 years old, it just blows my mind.
Man, he makes me feel old,
incredible.
man. He makes me feel old, and I'm only 27, and he makes me feel like, gosh, I'm getting up there in years. Man.
I'm 25, and it makes me think, what the hell am I doing with my life?
For real. Honestly, it's the same, dude. It's same. Honestly, it's the same thing. And then the first distraction was I believe it was Adam Cole, and then it was Roger, and then it was Kyle O'Reilly that came in, and that's when the first and the heartache happened. He kicked out. I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was going to be the end of the match, but of course he went ahead. He kicked out. He was able to persevere, and he hit him with the Dream Valley Driver after that, and he was trying to make his way to make the Purple Rainmaker before he got kicked in the face by Adam Cole. And then shortly after that, the second and the heartache, and the prophecy was fulfilled.
And it's really a good. I mean, it's a good way to end the USA show, and it's really interesting going forward. I mean, with War Games coming up, you got to think the obvious thing is to have a winner takes all sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, but then you got to wonder how they're going to fill out the rest of the card. So it's going to be a real interesting couple of months of NXT, just to see how all that shakes out.
I think the fact that they close off the show with Undisputed Era all as champions just shows that they're probably going to be big fixtures here in NXT on USA. They're going to be the big main draw. I think if Triple H is smart, and I know he's really smart with his booking, but they can make them what the OC is supposed to be on Raw, and what Bullet Club was or the Elite was in other promotions. I feel like they're trying to make them that very cool faction that everybody wants to be part of. Yeah,
they kind of give me like NWO vibes from the the Attitude Era and shit.
Definitely.
I mean, I know that was WCW, but yeah.
No, I think it's great.
I'm very high on Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
No, and
you can say what you want. They're not heels. Blah blah blah. They get crowd reactions. Man, like I always say, heels and faces aren't what they used to be. There's different kinds of heels today. There's different kinds of faces. Not to get in the main roster, but like Bayley, if she's out there in front of a crowd, she's distracting the rest. She's out here cheating, but everybody wants to say she's a face because she has some two men when she comes out.
See, both me and Kevin agreed that she's kind of like become like that heel that still thinks she's the baby face, and I think that's a different dynamic that we both kind of like.
Yeah, but there's so many different types of heels out there now. The cool heel, delusional heel, just plain out heel. Old school heel. I mean, so many different kinds. And Undisputed Era does such a great job balancing the crowd reactions with their, mannerisms and stuff.
Yeah, not only that, like I kind of feel like, the fans of today are a little more, sophisticated too, So like, cheering the heel is just the same as booing the heel was, back in the day too. At least that's the way I feel about it. I still cheer the heels. I don't give a shit.
It's cool. Like I said, I love the Undisputed Era.
Yeah, no, I think we got into a point in like today's era of wrestling where like just any reaction is a good reaction. I think, and I know that's a very WWE thing to say because like that's how they were justifying Roman back in the day. He was getting booed, or like John Cena, like he was like the most polarizing guy in WWE history and stuff like that. But in the end of the day, if you're getting some kind of reaction, you're doing something good. And the last thing you want is crickets, and we didn't have crickets at all through this entire show.
No.
The only time where the only time I heard any crickets was when I was trying to fix my WWE Network to go and watch the second hour because it was complete silence. I was so annoyed. I was frustrated. I was mad because I go and switch over. Like I was so ready. I thought I was so ready. I was just gonna because I was watching on my Roku stick.
Me too.
Nice. But I was watching on my Roku stick on USA, and then I just grabbed the remote from my smart TV to switch it over to the network, and it was telling me to sign in. I'm like, okay, this is weird. When did I sign out? Then I go in there and I try to sign in, and it says wrong email, wrong password, just like it couldn't verify stuff, make sure you had your info right. Then I'm like, let me try going on the Roku stick. Same issue. tried to go on my PS4, I was logged out again, and I couldn't get in there. I tried to go on my laptop, same damn issue, and then I go on my phone, the app isn't even freaking functioning, and I'm over here losing my mind on the group chat and on social media, and I'm over here just like my friend and my brother, they were in the room and they were just like quiet because they know I'm frustrated and I'm annoyed because I know I had to do the podcast, and then I had no information of what happened. I know we started things off with Pete Dunne versus can't remember the guy's name. I'm pretty sure you guys don't know either, but it's some Brazilian wrestler that
it was Arturo Rujas.
There you go.
Thank you. The last thing I ever want to do is like not acknowledge the guy's name. I don't want to be that wrestling podcast that like, oh yeah, it's the Brazilian guy.
Some dude.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Kevin, did yours fuck up?
Yes.
Okay,
it wasn't just you guys. The thing is that like I only missed like the very beginning of it. I came in like in the towards the beginning of the Pete Dunne match.
Yeah, I missed pretty much this whole match. I came in about midway through, and then it worked for a couple minutes, and then I'm over here in the kitchen making me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and all of a sudden my TV goes silent, and it signed me out again, and I didn't get back in until almost the Xylee and the Alea match was over. So. Gotcha. I missed a good chunk.
Oh, man.
So, Kevin, from what you were able to see during the Pete Dunne match, what'd you think? Was it mostly just like
classic
a showcase?
Pete Dunne. What's that?
Was it mostly just like a Pete Dunne showcase for like the crowd?
Yeah, pretty much. He did the classic, joint manipulation with the fingers. He actually did it to the dude's toes a couple times.
Oh, really?
Stuff like that. He actually tapped him out doing that. So Pete Dunne won by submission.
Yeah.
How much offense did Arturo actually get? Because in a little bit I did watch, he was actually getting some licks in there.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that it was all Pete. Mostly Pete.
Okay. I didn't know. I was kind of surprised by what little I watched. I was like, wow, they're letting this guy get a lot. Well, not a lot, but more offense than I expected.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, but like. I didn't see quite the whole match either. I'm not sure how far into it I was when my shit started working. So, but yeah, I mean, from what I saw, it was mostly Pete Dunne.
Right. I did see the finish that you mentioned, Kevin, because halfway through, when I went live, I went back on my laptop and started it over. So I was trying to multitask, so I couldn't really focus on on the Pete Dunne match. I was trying to focus on like the live stuff so I can cover that. But I did see the finish. I thought and that wasn't the first time he's finished a match that way. He beat Angel Garza that way last week, if I'm not mistaken. The exact same way. Yeah, he made him tap out by doing like the finger snap thing and just like extending and the fingers and trying to like make him tap that way. And that's actually the second time I've seen it. I think that's a very unique and interesting way to finish off a match that only really Pete Dunne can do.
Yeah, I like it.
First time I ever seen it was back in January, their first UK takeover. That's how they beat Joe Coffey.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Shit.
I'm an uncultured NXT UK guy, so
I don't watch a lot either. I've watched both takeovers.
Yeah.
I've watched very sparingly in between, but the takeovers the last takeover I believe was the show of the weekend. If you remember, it was the same weekend as All Out and New Japan Royal Quest. So.
No, I mean I really haven't had a chance to like really keep up with either NXT UK television or the takeovers themselves. It's just like after a certain point, it's just so much wrestling and like you said, the last takeover was the same day as All Out, and I'm from Chicago, so I was fortunate enough to go. So I'm trying to like get to the arena, I'm trying to make sure all our stuff is set and ready to go. I'm trying to make sure we get there on time and stuff. So obviously we just don't have time to go ahead and just try to watch it. But it was a good match from what you tell me, Kevin. It did what it was supposed to do. It's trying to incorporate Pete Dunne into NXT because as we've seen, not only he but Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm was announced as superstars that are going to be making their way from NXT UK to NXT Main or NXT Prime, and that's what this match was.
I think they're going to go back and forth though.
I think those specific guys won't.
I didn't watch it, but I did leave. When I went and got my daughter to sleep, I did leave the TV on in here, and it was playing NXT UK. And when I came back in here, Rhea was actually on the episode they had.
Oh.
Right.
So I think they're gonna like try to bring it back and forth. And of course, we had Walter later in the night too.
Yeah.
So
But
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe they're just gonna.
yeah, I mean, before we got to Walter though, after this was like you said when you joined in was the Xia Li match versus Aaliyah, and God bless Aaliyah, but man, I am not invested in her matches in the slightest. That's not a knock on her. It's just I'm just not invested in her. She's been in NXT for so long, and she's went through so many character changes that at this point it's either going to click or it doesn't, and she looks like she's going to be one of those NXT mainstays that just never moves up. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe,
like I said on the top, this is my only low point of the show.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because the effort wasn't there. I mean, the girls, honestly tried, and it just they didn't seem to have much chemistry to me. A lot of things just seemed kind of awkward in this time.
Yeah.
That was what kind of turned me away from it, but the effort was there.
I mean, Aaliyah's been doing this for a couple years, but she's still not the best in-ring technician, and Xia Li is still relatively new to pro wrestling. So obviously you're not. And here's the thing: yes, they're on USA TV now, but these are guys and gals that are still like learning their trade. Some aren't just like polished off indie wrestlers that've been doing it for years. So Xia Li,
Right.
like obviously she probably didn't have like the best match with Aaliyah, but I'm a big Xia Li guy, man. Like if they push her and like really like do a good job with her, I can see her as an NXT Women's Champion. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just me, but I'm pretty high on her. I think she's great.
I enjoyed her working Mae Young. I will give you that. Her working Mae Young was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, she's still a ways away, but still, though, I see the potential.
But like I said earlier in the show, they did. This might 7 if you include we skipped over to the Dakota Kai return.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good
So
segue because she did return. And not only that, but they confirmed that her return is next week, which I'm excited. I'm a big Dakota guy. I freaking love her.
And plus, if you count Baszler and Horsewomen, they had 10 women on the show tonight, one way or another. So they're trying to build as best as they can everybody, I guess, and it's good to give them any time on TV just to build them.
Yeah. Definitely, and
you're not gonna learn unless you're out there in front of the camera. So
exactly, and like you were saying earlier in the episode, like there's been so many women highlighted here, like, and we were talking about how like we were worried about the NXT Women's division because so many people left, but they've done a great job of rebuilding it. Like we talked about, Toni Storm is coming in, Rhea Ripley has shown up already, Dakota Kai is coming back. They had Xia Li, Aaliyah, Vanessa Bourne. The Horsewomen are there. The women in the Fatal 4-Way match, and that's just not even the tip in that's not the tip of the iceberg. There's gonna be a lot more.
I didn't even count Vanessa. That's 11.
Yeah, there you go. So 11. So like Vanessa's there, and like she'll get there. Like she reminds me a little bit of like Lacey Evans in terms of like a wrestler that's learning their trade and is eventually gonna make their way up. But
if you tell Rob that, he might watch NXT.
maybe I'm like, hey, so Rob, there's this one girl that's gonna be the next Lacey Evans. She has Lacey Evans potential. Rob might start watching on a weekly basis. No, but back to Dakota though, without going into too much like looking forward down the line. She has history with Shayna. She was taken out by Shayna. That was one of the first people that was bullied by Shayna, and I think it would be a great story to make that come full circle and have her be the one to finally dethrone Shayna. I don't know. I've always thought that way, and the fact that she's finally coming back, maybe at the next big takeover, she's the one that finally takes the title off of her.
Yeah, you could. I love storytelling, and when it comes full circle, so I certainly wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, you just got to build to it.
Yeah. You can be iffy, I guess, on if Candice is the girl. because, like we said, her feud with Io does not seem over. I mean, if it is over, it's pretty rushed. It seems like we haven't really got a week ago they was fighting backstage, if I remember right.
Yeah, Io attacked Candice, and that's like funny enough. Io kind of cost herself this match in a way because she attacked Candice LeRae, and because of that, she went and kind of like did the whole "can I talk to your manager" type thing, and she went and talked to William Regal and asked like, "Hey, add me to the match," basically, and that's how she got added. She got added because of Io, and obviously Io wasn't involved in the pin or in the finish of that match. But she kind of gave that title opportunity to her rival, and I think, like you said, Sebastian, I don't think this is over. It could lead into a triple threat, but I don't think they'd rush and end this just to have Candice be the one to like take the title off of Shayna. That would be too rushed, and especially 2 weeks from now on an NXT TV. No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think they were just trying to have a good match because that 2 weeks from now, coincidentally, is the same night that AEW goes live for the very first time on TNT, and they won a high-profile women's match because they have to compete with the AEW women's match, which is Nyla Rose and I forget the other
Rio.
Rio.
Yeah, so it's Rio versus Nyla Rose. So they got that, and so they're trying to counter it with Shayna versus Candice, which isn't a bad counter. That's a very nice play by WWE.
I agree.
And two, just on the same level as Io and Candice, Ripley had an on finish with Baszler last week, so it doesn't really seem like they're finished.
No, it doesn't.
And I think Toni Storm would be good in that role. I mean, she did very good in a similar role against Ripley when she took the UK women's title off her. So Tony's handled that role, and I think that would be an interesting story. The first woman to have the UK championship and the championship would be.
Yeah.
And Tony, where it go, man? Tony, I think she's top tier. In the world. I'm very big on Toni Storm.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm like a real. I feel like I've been saying this about a lot of women wrestlers, but like I'm a big Toni guy. Like I didn't know anything about her, but I discovered her in the first Mae Young Classic. I've tried to keep up with her in indies or like Progress or anything that I can find of her. And then obviously the second Mae Young tournament she won, and NXT UK she's been doing her thing. She's been a great wrestler, and she's a great addition to the women's division here in NXT. If she is indeed here to stay, or if she's even gonna like go between UK and main NXT, I think she's still a great option to have her face Shayna. So I don't know. They've done a great job. Like we said, they've done a great job of replenishing that women's division, and I'm really excited for that women's division because like you guys said, AEW has a really good women's division, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because I've seen more of these girls. I think NXT got them beat by a bit.
I think talent-wise, which I don't feel comfortable saying that just because I don't know. I know some of the AEW's division, but I don't know them all, about their history and stuff. So I could be wrong saying NXT has. But I think if they do a proper job building what they're way they can, I definitely agree. I think they.
Yeah.
Because, I watch a lot of wrestling, and I don't, like I said, I just don't know a lot of the women there.
There's just so much wrestling you can cover.
Yeah. And so I just wonder how many other people's like me that does watch a lot of wrestling, but still don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like there's more familiar.
No, yeah.
Everyone's more familiar with the NXT side at this point.
Yeah.
They have a weekly platform to like showcase their wrestlers, which unfortunately, until AEW has their TV show, we won't know more about these wrestlers. Like they've done a great job of introducing me to people that I didn't know about, and I didn't really knew that like Walter and Emporium was gonna show up tonight, but they did. I wasn't watching at this point. Like I said, my network cut off. I know a lot of people's networks cut off as well. But Kevin, yours wasn't messed up at all. So what happened here after that match? After the Zaya match?
let me consult these notes to make sure I'm going to say the right thing. So let's see. So right after that, obviously the Denzel, Descharnay, and Kushida come out, and Emporium actually comes out before Kushida even comes out, and they just basically proceed to beat the shit out of this dude without Walter, and then Walter comes out, basically is like, hey, we're here to take over the NXT. Then Kushida comes out and is like, no, you're not, basically, and like does his best to take out all those dudes and then runs away from him. And that was pretty much what happened. But yeah, I mean, it was exciting. I've never seen the Emporium before, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought that was pretty cool. But I mean, there wasn't there wasn't a match in there at all.
Got it.
There just wasn't. It was so, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, I mean, it looks like there's going to be some kind of potential rivalry there with the Emporium, maybe a member or two with Kushida, because it was definitely he broke up their party essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he name dropped Walter specifically and said he wanted to challenge.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. You're right.
And that'd be great. Walter's so, especially for his size. He's always been open about not wanting to stay in the United States and all that. So, and that's why he ultimately went to the UK. And if they want to bring Walter over for just little short programs like this, I'm all.
I think they might be bringing him and Emporium in for War Games.
Oh, really?
I mean, that's possible.
I mean, we saw, like, without like jumping too far ahead, but we saw like a very interesting ending, which leads me to believe that there's gonna be some interesting teams here for War Games. It might not just be like a 2-man team. They might go back to doing the 3-man team like they did before. So they've had two different versions of War Games. So we don't know which one they're gonna do.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. You can have that situation, and like I said earlier, you could do a winner takes all. And that's the Undisputed Era's match. They've been in both of them. It's hard for me to not include them in it. At this point, it's kind of like Undertaker or a Triple H missing out on the Cell match. You just until this Hell in a Cell pay-per-view era, you just never saw one without them.
My only issue with having like winner takes all situation at War Games is usually the formula for NXT matches are all 4 titles and then a 5th rival title, a 5th rival match. So like it's the 4 titles and then the rival match. So they have to find a way to like fill out those matches. Obviously, you're gonna have the one women's match. Maybe you're gonna have you're obviously gonna have the War Games match, but you have to like fill it in the gap. They always have a minimum of 5 matches, and that's my only concern.
If the cruiserweights come over, you can have a cruiserweights championship match, and if Candice isn't the one to take the title off Shayna, you could be seeing Candice or a part 2. Yeah. And right there, it's 4 matches, and then you could just build a feud with someone. So I mean, it's definitely, and 2, what better way to build your roster and give them a lost spotlight on Takeover?
Yeah, and like you mentioned, like the cruiserweights, if they do get added to NXT, they could obviously have that title match at Takeover, and we saw the first signs of NXT incorporating the cruiserweights with Leo Rush and Only Lorcan tonight. Guys, I didn't see Leo Rush showing up. I didn't picture that. I really thought this guy was out. He's been quiet on social media. I haven't really heard anything about him. I was really sure that he was just at odds with the company. But him returning to NXT is great for him and NXT and the Cruiserweight division. And I don't know, because like I just jumped in mid-match because like I said, my connection was just like terrible, and I jumped in mid-match, and I just saw the Oni wrestling some other guy. I'm like, wait, who is that? Who is that? And then I saw like the Rush on his tights. I'm like, wait, is that Leo? Oh my gosh. I marked out so hard for Leo Rush. I jumped out of my seat. I'm like, oh shit, that's Leo. That's Leo. And obviously I saw a really good match, but what did you guys think of the crowd? How did they receive him though? Were they just as excited as me?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, they were. They were very happy, and I'm very high on Leo. When they announced that he was getting signed from Ring of Honor, I expect a pretty big thing, especially at the launch of 205 and the NXT part of things. There's a lot of things you can do with a guy like him. I wasn't happy to see him in the role he was with Bobby Lashley. I thought that was kind of just a little bit of a misuse. But
that's a bit of an understatement.
If he's gonna jump straight into a cruiserweight championship feud with Gulak, that's a banger of a match, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm very excited just to have Leo. I think he's a valuable piece, especially in today's wrestling.
For sure.
Kevin, did you have any notes for this match as well?
I mean, not really, but it was. I feel the same way you guys do about it, though. I mean, I think the big surprise there was that that Leo Rush was even there. To your point, Vince, that's all I heard was that like he was at odds with the company completely, and I thought he was just out. He was never going to wrestle for WWE again.
Mm-hmm.
So. Maybe I didn't mark out quite as bad as you did, but I was excited to see him. And then he, proceeded to have a great match with Oni Larkin.
Yo, man, Oni Larkin,
I'm looking
have
forward.
it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him versus Gulak now. I mean, that's going to be great.
Yeah, it was. Just the simple story of Leo using his speed and Oni using his strength just to try to, slow him down. It's a simple story to digest, and they did a wonderful job with it.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There was so many strikes where it really sounded like Oni Lorcan just like literally took Leo's head off and was like ripping off pieces of his chest as we were hearing the chops. Like they were vicious. That's one thing I love about Oni Lorcan is that not only does he put on great matches, but you can hear how great his matches are. He's just a great talent, and honestly, the fact that like he's back on NXT TV is great for me, and the fact that Leo Rush is back on NXT TV is great for me. Look, man, like I know we were talking about it at the last podcast where we were trying to like figure out how they were gonna run a 2-hour show, but I feel like there's enough talent in general to like fill those 2 hours every week. I don't think they're gonna have any issue whatsoever.
No, they're not.
No.
Yeah, I do like Oni. I really enjoy most 205 lives, and I think unfortunately Oni is one of the rare cases on 205 where it's kind of hurt him in a way. Like watching him out there tonight was kind of different for me. I don't know. It just seems like when he's on 205, he's a fish out of water for some reason. I don't know. I can't really connect to him.
Yeah.
But when he's on NXT, whether it be a tag match or a singles match, I just connect so much better. I don't know if it's just the love that people have to be on NXT. A lot of people just openly say NXT's my home. So I don't know if it's that or what, but I enjoy him so much better on NXT, man. I just can't really get him on 205.
Maybe it's just the environment, like you said. Maybe it's the crowd, like because like a lot of main roster crowds, like when it comes to 205 Live, they just don't appreciate the talent. I mean, for God's sake, they had Kushida on TV and they didn't care. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. That's why I'm glad that the cruiserweights are making their way to to NXT and leaving 205 Live. Like 205 Live was great. I enjoyed it for a very long time. But after a while, like the effort wasn't put in there. They kept trying, but like it was a sinking ship. And I'm glad that they were able to merge with NXT because right here they're given time. Like Leo Rush, only Lorcan, they put on a great match. And Leo Rush is the number one contender. He's going to go against Drew Gulak. That's a takeover match for me. Like you were saying, Sebastian.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, how do you fill out the card for that match? Leo Rush versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight title. That's one way to do it. That's a good match right there.
Like we said, Full Sail's just so much better for him. Raw even does the main event show before Raw. While the crowd's kind of hot and excited, going for 2 hours of SmackDown Live, and then just throwing these guys out there is, it's hard. It's hard.
They did have a spell there where the 205 Live was being recorded before SmackDown when they were doing the Mixed Match Challenge, and I figured when they were doing that, I felt like when that crowd was at its best because they were excited for wrestling. This is the first piece of wrestling they've seen, and they were just like enthusiastic. And I was hoping they kept that formula, but they obviously didn't.
It's just hard for a performer and crowds, man. I went to my first Raw back in May. It was with the Raw where they announced the Raw participants for May. And they just take you out of it so much. During commercials, they repeat all these ads. A live experience, I don't know if you guys have been to a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. If it ain't a top-notch show, it's real easy to just get kind of tired.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. Especially Raw being 3 hours. Like, at least SmackDown, you sit there and it's just a 2-hour show. And you could obviously, that's probably why people take a break during 205 Live. Because at that point, that's the 3rd hour of Raw, if you try to, compare the two shows. And
if you listen to our Raw and SmackDown post shows and I go on these rants about these guys just going out there standing in front of the crowd, that's literally what happens. They put an ad on the bid screen and Samoa Joe's just standing there.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens. And it takes you out of the moment. It takes you out, and it's hard to get the crowd back in with that, much less 3 hours later. You know what I mean? It's just...
yeah, definitely. It's just one of those problems, unfortunately, that's going to be a TV thing, and I wonder if that's going to be an issue for NXT, because, the only one thing that I just didn't feel like NXT for me, especially during the USA Network broadcast, was the commercials. I'm not used to having commercials during NXT matches like that. They were actual 4-minute commercials. I'm used to them taking a break, they plug something on the network, and they come right back to the action. But it just felt off, especially during the four-way match to start things off and the main event. They was you're getting into the match, and then they cut to commercial, and I'm like, wait, what? This is different. I'm not used to this on my NXT.
It is different, man. And wrestling Twitter, man. I saw so many complaints about that. And it's mostly not the people that just want to enjoy wrestling. It's mostly the guys that's 100% AEW.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh yeah, these commercials, and I'm like, are you telling me AEW ain't gonna have commercials?
Yeah,
they're gonna go live for 2 hours.
No, what did they honestly think that NXT was gonna stay commercial free when they went to when they went to TV? Come on.
Yeah.
And it's AEW guys, because when you see these things said and you go to their page and they have these AEW shirts, hats on, and their bio says New Japan, Ring of Honor, AEW, there's no mention of WWE, so it's just the bias. And you're just like, your show's going to have them too. What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
So,
stupid.
And I think I can't remember which AEW wrestler did it. It was a woman. It was a woman's wrestler. I can't remember who it was. And it's like, all these commercials. And I'm like, you're like, I don't know. I hope NXT counters it on the first AEW.
Tonight on Twitter, an AEW women's wrestler tweeted that?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. It was like, there were some good commercials. And I'm like, you're going on live TV too?
Oh my god.
Does no one know how TV works? Are you that desperate?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It seems like...
Yeah, it might have been Britt Baker.
Britt Baker.
Oh my god.
I can't remember, man. I really can't. But it was a women's, somebody in the women's division.
We'll look for that tweet. We'll scour the entire
Yeah,
Twitter
we gotta
landscape and try to
that.
find it. But it does seems like a lot of fans are at war with each other, especially with NXT and AEW going at it on Wednesday nights. But also, like, a lot of the roster went at it, and they were just going at it with each other tonight to close things off. But well, I don't know what you guys thought of that ending. Was there even a finish to the match, which of course was the street fight or the no DQ match between Matt Riddle versus Killian Dane, which I saw, like, from what I saw, it was really good.
Okay, before we get into that, it was Britt Baker. The exact tweet was solid commercials tonight. Laughing face. But anyways, did the bell ring? Did the bell ring in this match?
I didn't hear a bell ring. I didn't hear a single.
It did at the beginning.
It did ring.
I heard it ring at the beginning.
Okay, well, this ain't. I'm gonna be fair here. How the hell do we not get a finish to a street fight?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
See, here's the thing. This is why a lot of fans, like, even before like AEW was a thing, there was like, oh, NXT's so much better. NXT so much, which I love NXT. Like, it's great, but they're over here trash WWE or the main roster. I'm like, oh, like, how did that made no sense? How does that work out or stuff like that? But right now we had a no DQ match that ended in a DQ. Like, how does that make any kind of sense, guys?
Yeah, and like security came in there and was breaking Killian and Matt Riddle up. Like, wow, they're supposed to be wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, this was up there with Brock Lesnar having causing a no contest in a Hell in a Cell last year. Like, what the hell's going on?
Oh yeah, that did happen. Yeah. Sebastian reminded me of like wrestling past and shit. I completely forgot.
Listen, I'm not even mention that again because I was so heated when that happened. I don't want to get into that. But this one right here, like,
you can get into it on our Hell in a Cell top 10 episode. You can get into that.
It's like your first show, your first main event, and you're gonna have this. Like, don't get me wrong, it was still an entertaining segment. I mean, it was chaotic and all that. It was. I'm not saying it was a bad segment at all, but like, just the booking wise, it didn't make much sense.
Yep.
I mean,
agreed.
I don't know what. I mean, okay, so let me just say this. Maybe the thing was that they wanted to end things with like a big, like, climactic, like, brawl and stuff like that, because this reminded me very similar of when they did the draft back in 2004, I believe, and it was the Eddie Guerrero versus Triple H for the WWE title. Triple H was just drafted to SmackDown, and I don't remember how it started, but Raw spilled over, SmackDown spilled over, the entire rosters were fighting back and forth and stuff, and that's how they ended the match then. Granted, that wasn't a no DQ match, but maybe they were trying to go for a similar feel here with, like, just trying to have like action packed and stuff like that, and maybe this is their way of trying to extend that Killian Dane versus Matt Riddle feud, which, like you said, could end up being a takeover match. Maybe this is just their way of trying to, like, get there and extend this without having one of them take a loss.
After the show went off air, I did see a couple people tweet. I don't know if they was in the arena or what, but they said that they didn't know if it aired or not. But after the suicide dive, Regal came out and said that Riddle and Dane was going to have a match next week, and the winner has an NXT championship match. So I don't know if that's true. I just seen a couple people tweet it. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm just saying
I didn't see that, so that didn't come in on my end. Because what I saw, like you said, Killian Dane did the suicide dive, took out like 30 people.
Everybody.
And, and then you saw the little graphic, like the end credit on the bottom, and Mauro was signing us off. Like, and it was early too, because it was like maybe like 9:50 something. Like 9:54, 9:56. We had like 6 to like 4 minutes left on the episode, so maybe that was just mistiming. Maybe because it is live. We'll give them a break here. It was their first live broadcast. They'll get better, obviously, but I didn't see Regal coming out, at least on my end.
The tweet says Regal did come out and announce the winner of Riddle and versus Dane next week on UFC. We'll get a title shot against Adam Cole. Not sure if that aired either, based on what people So I guess he was in the arena and he saw a lot of people confused by the ending, and he just put it out there, just saying that that's what happened. But that's even. I don't like the bell ring. Like when it happened, I was under an impression the bell didn't ring, so
Right.
I wasn't that mad. But if you're saying the bell rang, that's just bad booking.
Yeah. Well, I remember watching towards the end of that match, whatever the hell it was, that chaos, and I didn't even realize it was over with. Like, it just kind of went off air, honestly, and like went into whatever they were plugging on the network, and I was like, wait a minute, like nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the hell?
I think it was just like a miscommunication issue there. Like you did say, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Regal came out and like he said that the winner, they'll face each other next week. The winner gets a title match for the NXT title. So maybe it was intended to have Regal come out and show that on the broadcast. And obviously, if you just add that little detail of having Regal coming out and saying, okay, you know what, you guys are going at it again next week, and this time it's going to be for the title, then that makes more sense. The brow makes more sense because you're trying to lead into that. But maybe it was just miscommunication. Nobody knew when stuff was supposed to happen. I'm pretty sure they were supposed to try to get that on TV.
Yeah, that makes sense.
After SmackDown last night and KO was on there and laid the papers to Shane and all that, I kind of gave up hope that Kevin Owens was going to appear tonight.
Yeah.
But I didn't help but have flashbacks where everybody was brawling in the ring back in when they did the invasion angle and Stone Cold returned, went in there and stunned like 20 people.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I was like, they're doing a callback right here, and KO's going to come out and stun like 20 people. But obviously it didn't happen, and I was like, well, okay.
I mean, they're still trying to tell their story with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. That's obviously still not over. And
that's what I'm saying. After SmackDown last night, I gave up hope on that.
No, yeah, me too.
Just see that him supposedly trying to be like Stone Cold doing the stunner and going after the McMahons. I was like, he's gonna come out here and stun 20 people. That's what's gonna happen.
That would have been awesome.
No, it definitely would have. It would have been great. But we're just going into fantasy booking territory at that point. We could just try to reenact that on NXT on WWE Universe mode when the new game drops. We can make that happen. We'll make a story out of it.
As long as KO gets Shane off my TV and fires him, I don't give a damn.
Oh my gosh, yes. Because obviously we saw today that we don't need a heel authority figure or authority figure in general on television in the wrestling program to make us involved. Like Regal, it's like probably like the best GM in all of history, in my opinion, because he doesn't make it about himself. He's involved when he's needed to be involved, and he helps develop and further storylines. But it's never about himself. He only comes only when he needs to. Like tonight, like we didn't see it, but he came out. It's like, you know what? I'm sick of this. You guys, title match next week. We're gonna get it out of the way. But like, yeah, like he's not a Shane McMahon.
Regal tapes backstage shit at his house. Like, unless there's somebody in the shot with him, he has a room in his house, and that's where he shoots the solo in the office making announcements. So
really? I thought he was actually doing that in like the performance center or something.
No, that's a room in his house.
Oh man, that's
shit. I didn't know that.
That was a very nice. Wait, but what about the segments where he actually had, like last week, Candace went into his office?
Yeah. So if nobody's in the shot with him, he does it at his house, but. Like, if he has to actually interact, then he does fly out and all that crap. But
I thought he just invited people over to his house. I'm like, come on, loves, come and join us. Gonna have a little bit of tea. Come on, we're gonna film this promo for NXT TV. I figured that's how it went. Like, once he told me that he filmed it at his house, I thought he had like a whole like set stage like down in his basement or something. He just invited Candace over. I'm like, okay, come on, Candace. Let's come in. We gotta film this episode. Stuff like that. Like, could you imagine if like that's how baller Regal was, and you guys come to me, we film it at my place. I'm not going anywhere.
That'd be great.
Nah, but
well, he's like halfway there apparently. So
yeah, give him another 2 years, and he don't want to go in with him.
definitely. But I don't know. Overall, I think I really enjoyed the show. Aside from the finish, which was a little confusing, which was a little bit more addressed on Twitter. Now that I know that they're gonna have a rematch for the title next week, I'm not as confused.
Maybe.
I just kind of wish it was on TV. That is all I gotta say.
Like I said, take it with a grain of salt because people just put stuff on Twitter to put it sometimes. But if that happened, it does make a little more sense. But just don't ring the bell. Just don't ring the bell that stuff.
yeah,
Like if you start a no DQ false count anywhere match, you gotta have a finish. That's all I'm saying.
Right, definitely. But they ended the show pretty well. For the most part. But I think that's the end for us, too. We talked a lot of wrestling today. I thought today's episode was really great, and I'm looking forward to being able to cover NXT live 2 hours every week. I'm enjoying it.
Or
I can't
AEW.
wait. I think
Whichever side of the coin we fall on.
I think I'm going to end up on
Here,
NXT side. I think I'm NXT side. I'm leaning towards NXT. But yeah, with
after tonight.
Yeah, tonight was great. I look forward to it, and they have a lot of my favorite wrestlers. I'm a big Io guy. I'm a big Dakota guy. I'm a big Tony Storm guy, and I don't know. I'm just more invested right now with NXT. The only thing right now that draws me more to AEW is the Lucha Bros right now. Lucha Bros are like my favorite guys right now in wrestling. And maybe I'm a little biased. I'm Mexican, so obviously I'm going to be supporting the Mexican luchador guys in AEW. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know which one I watch live. NXT is where my heart is. But at the same time, I don't have a DVD personally. And I do know NXT is going to be on the network tonight.
Yeah.
So I might watch AEW live and then try and watch NXT the next day.
Yeah.
Might be how I do it. I haven't decided.
Yeah, well, regardless...
That's what I'm going to try, I think.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how the teams end up being shaken up between the Smack Raw crew, I think both shows are going to be great, and I look forward to covering all of them with both you guys or whoever I have the fortune of covering the shows with. But on that note... Unless you guys want to add something else before we sign off, I think we are all set for today's episode.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Before we sign out, Kevin, where can people find you again?
That's at Kevin Crazy 316, crazy with a K.
Sebastian?
At WrestlingFan_32. And real quick, Saturday,
Oh,
our
yes, of
weekend
course.
episode this week is our top 10 Hell in a Cell matches. So give that a listen. Get ready
definitely
for,
tune in for that.
Yeah, hopefully gets us ready for a pretty fun Hell in a Cell pay-per-view coming up. So,
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
Hell in a Cell, yeah.
And like for myself, you can find me.
I'm sure it's going to be hostile. There's going to be a lot of arguments. So.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna, if I can't get on it with you guys, I'll definitely tune in. But you can find me at SES Vince on all social medias. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at the Smack Raw Pod. You can, like I said, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and YouTube. Please subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Let us know what you thought of tonight's episode of NXT and 205 Live, and don't forget to hit the little bell notification so you know when we go live with a brand new video on YouTube. With that being said, I'm Vince, Kevin, Sebastian. This has been the Smack Raw Pod, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Have a nice day.